What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I am Mista, the best Minecraft player to ever exist and Kovaaks player to ever exist. I know it may not seem like I'm that good. It's because I'm not. But at the beginning of my Kovaaks journey, I actually made Diamond within 3 weeks. So we're talking about the Voltaic or Sparky benchmarks. If you don't know what that is, it is like a Kovaaks group or like an aim group, and they have like these benchmarks that you can use to like measure how good you are compared to everybody else. And like Diamond it's okay, it's not that bad, but it's like a decent rank. I mean, there's a lot of diamonds out there, there's a lot of masters, grandmasters. Like Diamond isn't that bad, and like once you hit Diamond, honestly in my opinion, you don't have to keep playing Kovaaks. You can just forget about it, go about your day, and just play the games you want to play and improve at them. So let's talk about how I got it in 3 weeks. Okay, so first I think I should explain that everybody improves at different rates when they first start Kovaaks because of FPS experience. If you're going to start with no FPS experience, you're most likely going to place close to like silver, bronze maybe, but you should start around silver, gold if you don't really play a lot of FPS. I personally started with about 300 hours in CSGO, which isn't that much. That's like across like 5 years. I don't really play that game. I really don't like it. I only played it with friends. But I did play a lot of Overwatch. But most of that time was on Genji before I started Kovaaks. And I had about 1100 hours at that point. So I only played like projectile characters like Pharah, Junkrat, Genji. So I still didn't have a lot of FPS experience. So when I first started, I placed at Gold 1. So I want to go through this real quick for the uninformed people that are watching this video that have no idea what the benchmarks actually are. There they are on the screen right now. They might have already been there because I'm a genius editor. But anyway, so you have all these categories: dynamic, static, precise, reactive, speed, evasive, and these fit into bigger categories. These are subcategories that I just listed. They fit into tracking, clicking, and switching. You'll notice that if you like join Voltaic Discord, you'll find the fundamental routines. I'll show them right now. Let's see. They have one for each rank and you can do them. I wouldn't advise doing them past Diamond. They're not that good. Let's go for the... I have Gold. Now you'll notice I made an Alt 1 and Alt 2. That's because on their Google document, they had one where you could like switch up the scenarios, but they still focus on the same thing. So I just made Alt 2 so I could alternate between them. At the beginning of the day, I would do one of these. And then after this, because that would like work on everything that I need to work on, I would choose a specific subcategory of the benchmarks to work on, like static, and I would do this playlist after I already worked on everything else. To improve the specific subcategory that you want to focus on. After you do that, you go to the benchmarks and you do every single one of the benchmarks in that subcategory. So 3 for static. So you're going to work on 1 wall 4 targets, Voltaic, 6 sphere, hip fire, and wide wall 3 targets. Find out which one that you perform the best on, or like you're closest to breaking into the next rank, and then grind that one. Grind that one after you do the playlist that focuses on the specific subcategory. And then you'll notice significant improvements on whatever you choose to improve on that certain day. So every single day, choose a different like subcategory, or if you want to like hard grind something that you're really behind on, you can do the same one after you're done with your fundamental playlist. This is really complicated, so I hope I made this a lot better in the edited version. So let's move on to the next part. But before we move on, actually, I'm going to link some playlists down in the description below that'll help you improve on your subcategory. And I'll link those rank-specific fundamental routines in the description as well. Now, this might be a little obvious, but when you're grinding your benchmarks and you already have some of them, like you already meet the requirements for a certain subcategory already for the next rank, you really shouldn't focus on that. And like outside of your fundamental routine, you shouldn't do any extra work on that, because you're already at the level that you need to be. So focus on your weaknesses, of course, and you'll improve faster. As you begin to play a little bit more of the scenarios and you get a little experienced, you'll notice that on certain things, you will do better with a lower sensitivity, like static or precise scenarios, also known as smoothness. So these scenarios, you benefit from using a lower sensitivity than what you usually use, And depending on what your sensitivity already is, you shouldn't lower it anymore. Like if you're doing a smoothness scenario and your sensitivity is already like above 40 centimeters, that would mean you don't want to go any lower than that in that case. But cheesing, if you use a high sensitivity or a medium sensitivity, is always a viable option to get higher scores, even though it sounds really, cheesy because it's cheesing. Don't be afraid to do it. Nobody cares. It's a game. Now, a lot of new players have this same question. They want to know what they have to think about or what they should focus on when doing subcategories of scenarios, like dynamic, static, smoothness, and reactive. We're only going to focus on those, not the target switching ones, because those are basically a combination of tracking and clicking. So just apply the principles that I'm about to teach you to the target switching and you'll be good to go on those. So we're going to start off with static. Now on basically every static scenario is the same. It's just you move your mouse, click things that don't move. So when you're doing these scenarios, you're going to want to focus on going as fast as you can while being as accurate as you can. So go as fast as you can, but don't sacrifice your accuracy for the sake of your speed. All right, on to the dynamics. So for popcorn and bounce 180, you're going to want to go for the arc. You're going to focus on going after the dots once they reach their peak of their arc. Once they reach their highest point, they move the slowest, so they're easiest to hit there. Go for the dots that are about to reach their peak and you'll notice higher scores already. But for Pasu, this is a little bit more complicated. You'll notice that the dots, they change directions, but not very often. So you're going to want to go for the dots that change right after they change their direction, because they're not going to change their direction for a few more seconds. So go after those, not the ones that are closest to it. Onto precise or smoothness scenarios. You're usually going to want to focus on keeping your crosshair on the bot while you're tracking. Just not the movement, because the movement is predictable. Just focus on keeping your crosshair on the bot. Now for reactive scenarios, you want to focus on the bot's movement, because it's going to be moving too quickly for you to look at your crosshair. If you look at your crosshair, you're going to get overwhelmed and you will not be able to track well. Your reactivity is going to suffer and you're going to start predicting. So focus on the bot's movement, just try to match it. Be reactive. Never predict. A lot of people predict when they first start playing this game, like on Close Fast Strafe's Invincible. The bot moves so quick that they think that, oh wow, I'm jittering back and forth. Maybe it's going to go this way. But please never predict. It's just going to worsen your scores and you're going to be like very much worse off. Alright guys, I hope you're still watching, because this is the most important part of the video. If you take anything from this, please take this away, because if you don't get this, then everything else just means nothing and you're never going to get better at the game, and then you're going to be sad because you suck at the game. And this important thing is your mental. You really want to keep a good mental while you're playing this game. If you don't improve one day at a scenario, at what you decided to focus on for the day, and you just plateaued for like a few days, maybe a week, maybe two, like please don't worry about it. Like I know I like hype myself up, even though there's people that improve way faster than me. I'm gonna improve faster than some of you. Some of you might improve faster than me. Like you gotta remember that everybody's different. That's how the world works. It's not fair. Genetics exist, experience exists. Like nobody's on an even playing field. Just do your thing and you'll improve as you go. Just don't give up and get better. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.